What's up, guys? Let's talk about Shatta Wale's show on the 11th of May in London. We know up to the run up for the events of the Independence Day celebration, Shatta Wale did post something on social media that he will be performing in London. And the venue was not stated, but during the show and everything, we got to know that he will be performing at the O2 Indigo. However, you can see this post right here. A fan was basically telling Shatta Wale to move to a bigger auditorium. And the auditorium that was suggested was the Wembley Ovo Arena, which is about 12,500 capacity. Now, Shatta Wale answered by saying, "And so shall it be done." I mean, Shatta Wale confirming that he will do what the fans are saying has two things in mind. Now, basically, do I feel or believe Shatta Wale can play a 12,500 capacity in London? Easy. I think he can do that. He can do that. He has the right team in place. The three promoters that are working, they can pull this thing completely. I keep saying that for these people who organize the Ghana party in the park and pull over 10K people, they are Ghanaians. They have the network. They can actually make this happen. So if we see the same event organizers that pull the Ghana party in the park together, they can make this thing happen. I see a Shatta Wale show with composers and these promoters in one place. Ovo Arena, 12,500 is an easy sell. However, I don't think it is going to happen this time because you see, a lot goes into event planning. And for Shatta Wale to announce 11th May and for them to also tell us that it's going to be the O2 Indigo, it simply means that the venue has been booked, right? And usually when venue is booked, there are a few things that come to play. Number one, sometimes time leading up to the event, you can decide to cancel because sometimes you put a down payment. Some event centers will require you to pay everything up front, or they would ask you to put a down payment, maybe a 75% whatsoever it is. Or you put a full payment down, and then in the event you ask to cancel, there are rules in place. So for example, they give you, let's say, a month to the event date, we will give you 50% refund. Maybe 2 weeks to the event date, we will give you 75% refund. You know, something like, we will give you 25% refund. You understand? That means you're losing 75% of your money. And then if you are very close to the event and then you cancel maybe a week or so, you will get nothing at all. And so these are some of the things. So from an investment standpoint, it doesn't make sense if they've already booked the O2 Indigo. If they've already booked it, it doesn't make sense to cancel. I don't know the clauses in there and how quick of a switch can it be. Now, there is another twist to this whole thing too. If the handlers of the O2 Indigo are the same people handling the Ovo Arena, based on availability, they can top up and switch venues. It's also possible because this is contractual, right? These are some things they can just sit and talk over and make it work. The timing, though, is not enough. We don't have it. It's more like a bad timing because we don't have enough time to pull that off. 12K followers today, as we speak, is the 11th of March, and we are talking April and then May. So basically 2 months away, and you want to now switch venues and start campaigning for a 12,500. It needs better planning. So yes, for right now, I don't think it's going to happen, but for future, I think it's definitely going to happen. It's something Shatta Wale might even try. It never even came to mind, you know, because we are always looking at a 20,000 capacity Wembley Arena and we keep ignoring a 12.5K. You understand? He could alternatively also go for a venue that is maybe a 6K, a 7K or something, and he can easily sell those shows easily. But you know, if you need the prestige, the names and all that kind of stuff, there are clearly some venues that have name, you know, that when it's attached to your event list as an artist, it brings some sort of credibility to, let's say, to your artistry and all that kind of stuff. And so there are some iconic venues that when you play, people will be like when you hear Palladium Square, you hear Apollo, you hear Madison Square Gardens, right? You hear Wembley Arena, like Wembley Stadium, for example. These are places where you play, you get that name. So Accra Sports Stadium, for example, and then you have Kumasi Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Those are big venues for anyone in Ghana. And then when you start hearing such names and say, oh, I feel it, it makes a lot of sense. You get the whole gist. So in as much as Shatta Wale may want to please the fans, I don't think business-wise it is something that makes sense right now to do so, unless, of course, they haven't locked in the venue. Unless the venue has not been. And we should also look at availability. You can say Ovo, and you may want to switch over there to the Ovo Wembley Arena, but the thing is it free? Is the space available? Because these are most of these event centers, the bigger ones, they are booked. Some are even booked a year in advance in order for you to get your specific date. You know, so perhaps they could go ahead and book next year for Ghana Independence and make Shatta Wale the sole performer on the day, and that is going to be a bigger one, or he should be the headliner and some other people accompanying and move into the 12.5K. Now that the promoters are working together, this is something they can actually do. And so it's a good idea, it's a good plan, but it needs careful planning. These are things that can actually be switched to happen. And if they move into that 12.5K and they pull together a good show, I think it is something that can be repeated year in, year out, just like that Ghana Party in the Park. And I still believe that the same people that put this Ghana Party in the Park things together can actually make this happen. And these are the same team that are actually working on these things. It is not going to be an easy fit, but it is possible. I think one of the things that I watched one of a video randomly somewhere where a fan who attended the Stonebwoy show, for example, was talking about Stonebwoy coming back or staging the show in a good weather, in the summer. You know, these are some things that actually pushes people to come out. You know, it will actually encourage them to come, because usually when people live abroad, because of the cold, right, they don't get to wear certain clothes that they would actually want to wear. And so when you have such events coming to town and all that kind of stuff, they want to show out. They want to go out and show out that, hey, I've got this nice clothes and all that kind of stuff, and I want to really show it. And so when you're looking at it from those angles, when you pick the right time, the right date and all that kind of, maybe it is the reason why people go to Ghana Party in the Park, because when you have the good weather, people are really excited and they just want to party. It's the same thing. When you look into the calendar, you can pick a date that makes sense, and then you can go in there and perform. I honestly think this is something we can look at, if not for the 20K thing that everyone is actually fixating their eyes on and stuff like that. This is an angle where I know a lot of people can focus on, and we can do a good sale for that. My name is MORDIN. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. You know what it is. Peace.